you've been to some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down. Sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. In sympathy.
Evening, everyone. First stream since, I think, the 23rd of December. It's good to be back, first of all. Happy New Year to everybody on the panel tonight, and Happy New Year to anybody that is watching. Everybody seems to be streaming at the same time tonight, but never mind. There we go. Anthony, hope you had a great Christmas and Happy New Year, man.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, Jess. You know, had a good Christmas, good New Year. And I just want to see what 2025 brings. And I got to be honest with you, it's great to start off a show like this. And the intro, I've missed the intro, but most of all, start the year off with that Bergkamp goal against Newcastle. Sorry, Mama, I'm sorry, but there it is.
True, mate. Darren, mate, hope you had a good Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, I've had a fantastic Christmas. Thanks, Jez. Can't complain at all, and looking forward to a manic few months with Arsenal Football Club under the stewardship of a certain manager.
Yes, yeah. Ken, my friend, hope you had a good Christmas, mate. Happy New Year to you, and we were going off to get a new... Well, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but how did you have a good time, mate?
You know what? Believe it or not, Jez, I was down your sides, Sussex Downs.
All right.
So we're down at Sussex Downs. We're in Wittering, and absolutely freezing, by the way. And then we spent some time in Chichester, and then obviously went down to Worthing. So that's how I spent my Christmas. But the sandwiches in between that, obviously, there's a couple of games which we both won. But yeah, so that's how I spent my Christmas. But I'm telling you one thing now. I'm struggling with getting skint by putting the heating on or just wrapping up because it's absolutely freezing.
It is bloody cold out there today. I only actually literally walked out to go to the park, right? Literally, and I just went out like this. You know, I thought, fuck, that is cold, man. That is proper cold. Aaron, how you doing, my friend? Hope you had a good Christmas, mate, and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, likewise, the boys in the panel, everyone in the chat. Hope you all had great holidays. Yeah, it's all right. It goes quick, doesn't it? All the kids had a great time. I was back to work yesterday. Do you know what, boys, as well? I was back to work yesterday, right? And I was having an absolute blinder. And I mean, like, I was nearly finished up by about 11:30. I had one RCD to change, yeah? So I almost like hop, skipped and jumped down the stairs and then grabbed the RCD and locked my keys in the deadlock van. And I had to sit there until 5 o'clock. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. I'd gone up there, done that, walked back down and thought, oh, where's my keys? Gone upstairs, searching around for them for half an hour. Yeah, they're in the van. And that's still in Aylesbury somewhere because I had to get my missus to come and pick me up. So she weren't too happy with a 2-hour round trip. Do you know what? I said to the painter and decorator, it was 11 o'clock, mate. I went, do you know what? I'm having an absolute blinder today. Oh, wow. Shouldn't have said that. But other than that, yes, it's all been good. Thank you very much.
You never say things to yourself like that, mate. You know it's going to go tits up.
You'd think you'd learn, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, well, you don't.
I don't.
You never do. Anyway, let's get into this. Right. Where do we start? Let's start with this one, right? I didn't see it live. I read the transcript of our illustrious manager, Mikel Arteta. Now, this guy would make the perfect politician. He just talks in riddles. I was watching it, and I know Lee did a stream about it earlier, right? But the guy can't answer a question at all. And the other thing is, Anthony, right? During that press conference, we've got Brighton away tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff. One question was asked about the game, and he didn't even answer that. Most of it was he was waffling on about the academy, waffling on about, well, questions were asked. Are we going to do any transfer business? Are we going to, whatever? The man's a fool. That is it. He is an absolute fool. It's quite clear to me we're not going to do any business, but give me your view. I mean, what is the point of asking a question about the academy?
I totally agree with you, Jez. It's pointless because, in all fairness, out of our academy players, is it right or wrong? We've only seen two. That all team academy, we've only seen two players come in. So I think that was irrelevant. That to me was, I can understand the question, but for him not to answer it properly, I thought that is ludicrous. Like you touched on as well, the January transfer window, he literally come up and said, well, one player is not going to make a difference with us if we are going to win the league. That was his actual question, his reply back. And he said, we're happy with what we've got at the minute, and we're going to expect a very, very quiet January transfer window. That, to sum it up in a nutshell, that was what it was. Like you, I didn't understand what he was actually coming out with. The question, it was total dross. It's like one of those people who wants to change the subjects, and instead of getting straight to the point, he was literally going around all the houses in his press conference. So, and then he actually got to the meaning towards the end. So I just thought it was a load of rubbish. Like you, Jez, Darren, Kenny, Aaron, I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's right, Mikel Arteta. I think we're going to have a very, very poor window in this January window. I'm sorry. Again, yes.
No striker. No, we can talk about one in a bit.
Yeah.
Darren, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, mate, but if you haven't, then this guy's a clown.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I heard the other day he was saying that we've got a thin squad. Well, yes. I'm absolutely delighted that we ain't going to be signing anyone in January because I don't want him spending and wasting any more of our money. I'm ecstatic if we've got a thin squad. Let's get it done. Let's just waste another season like we knew we were going to anyway. Let's just get it all done. Let's just get knocked out of all the cups and fall away in the league and Champions League. And let's see if the Arsenal fans are now going to meet their responsibilities in kicking Arteta out of this football club. Because until we do that, we're just going around in circles. He comes out with all this nonsense and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference because we all know with £80 million, you could put Noddy in charge of Arsenal Football Club and he'd do a reasonable job and they'd be there or thereabouts or in the top 4 or top 6 or whatever. But when you need that extra bit of quality in the manager that knows tactically what he's doing and knows to keep players consistent in areas, you can have versatility in maybe 1 or 2 players in the squad. You can't make them all versatile because they sort of get confused about what their role is. And until our supporters, change their attitude, nothing changes really. Because I can see us getting knocked out by March of all the tournaments and us being out of it. And then we'll have the same old diatribe of, should we give him another window again?
This is my greatest fear. Kenny, I know you got your views on this one. It's quite evident what we've got issues. We're going to get on to the next, a certain player in a little bit, but the man's a clown, man. Seriously.
What basically the situation is that I said it when I said it before. And I've got no problem like repeating myself, especially people who haven't heard my view on this. We've got a thin squad because simple reason is that he doesn't like to work with massive squads. Managers who don't like confrontation don't like working with massive squads because he doesn't want a situation where he has to explain to people why they're not playing, or in case he falls out with them and then they'll have to leave the club. But in terms of like where we are with this squad, there are loads of, like I said, red flags in terms of like the left-hand side, left backs, or red flag, because we've got so many players who are just not left backs playing that position, whilst the player that is a left back, it's a player he doesn't favour at all. And then you've got the Saka. To be honest, Bukayo Saka we're going to come to as a walking time bomb anyway. Everyone, to a man, said the same thing, that we're risking injury here. He's going to burn out here. He's going to burn out, and we need reinforcements. So that's one of the things. And I agree with Darren. How much more money do you want to give the guy to spend when arguably a lot of his signings haven't worked? And the two signings he's made have been okay successes, but I won't lie, it's square pegs from around holes. Not so much Declan, but definitely Kai Havertz. A lot of people say that Kai Havertz is tactically important. I mean, that's the most polite thing I've ever heard. Tactically important. We can translate that for in the chat, or basically translate it amongst ourselves. But calling Kai Havertz tactically important says a lot. I'll use an adjective. Kai Havertz has been a good find, and he's been a welcome addition to our side, and he's made us better. But for some fans to call him tactically important says it all about Mikel, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to. I've just started this comment from Macy. We're going to come back to this one. I think it's quite an important factor. Aaron, I'm going to ask you that, and Kenny, can you go week in, week out? We could talk about that in a little bit, mate. This press conference, man, the guy just deflects everything. And somebody put a great question, a great comment in just a minute back. Basically Arteta in a press conference is pointless, because nobody's allowed to ask him the difficult questions, because it's all previewed. Yeah. The questions aren't like it used to be in a proper press conference where you'd have proper journalists, and I mean proper journalists, right, who would ask the crucial questions to Wenger, George Graham, those sort of management, right? They didn't know what was going to be fired at them. This now, it's all predicted. It's all, oh, you can't ask that. Oh, no, you can't ask that. Oh, yeah, you can ask that, but you can't ask that. One question, Aaron, about the game tomorrow, a big game tomorrow, right? Brighton away is not an easy day out. Yeah, especially with the weather that's predicted to be down this way, this part of the world tomorrow morning. All weekend. Yeah, I mean, it's bitterly cold now. Where I am right now, already it's -1. Yeah, and it's 20 past 6 o'clock. So it's going to get colder tonight. It's going to get icy. It's going to be tricky. And I know they've got a modern pitch. It's under floor heating, underground heating, all that. But only one question, mate. But let's ask about the academy. Let's ask about the transfer window. And he completely deflected it.
Yeah, mate. Look, listen. There's only one comment that you need to sort of go to know the fact that he talks absolute nonsense in every single one that he does. And he made sort of a point about us saying, "Oh, we're that close. It's just literally a flip of a coin away, and then we'll be great." I'm like thinking, yeah, but by that logic, we're 50% away, because you flip a coin and you've got 50% chance. I'll just listen to that, and I just thought, what is this geezer absolutely on about? We're a flip of the coin away. I mean, it's just an absolute joke. I mean, just logically, I can't even let that nonsense seep into my mind without getting annoyed. Like, it's ridiculous. You can sit there, and they don't last long, do they? They usually like 10 minutes or whatever. But it will be the most depressing, wasteful 10 minutes you'll ever spend your week, your day. And if you watch them regularly, then what is the matter with you? Do you know what I mean? Like, and looking for insight, obviously. We look at it, you know what I mean? We look at things and like, what's he saying? Because we know we're going to talk about it. But if I knew that I wasn't going to say a dicky bird to anyone, it'd be the biggest 10 minutes, waste of 10 minutes of my life. He don't say anything. He might as well talk Chinese to me, Jez. Like, it's just, do you know what I mean? I don't understand what he's saying. You know, like Kenny said, or one of the boys said, we're here. It's a Arsenal v Brighton press conference. Why are we not talking about Arsenal v Brighton? I don't understand it. I do get, you know, like, if you're going to ask 10 questions, ask 7 or 8 about the Brighton game, and then ask a couple there or there around it. That's how I'd expect to go around it. That's about right for me. But when you're asking one of them, say out of the 10, I don't know if 10 were asked. I'm just sort of using an example. What's the point in watching it? You know, you might as well just watch an old one he's done already if you're not going to find anything out about the future game that we're talking about. He was asked, I think he was asked another silliness, and like I actually listened to Lee, and he made this point already. He was like, he asked Maitland Niles, he was like, oh, do you think he'll play in England? What do you think he's gonna say? What did we learn from this? It's just absolute nonsense, Jez. Like, I skimmed over it. I was fast forwarding what he was saying because I knew we'd probably talk about it, and I couldn't make it all the way through, mate. It's painful. Like, it's absolutely painful. Tell me, like, would you choose to watch that for insightful knowledge about the football match tomorrow? Like you said, a very difficult one. There's loads of things to talk about that football game. This is the squads to play. Do you know what I mean? How tough it's going to be, and we're just asking silliness. It's just it's pointless, and this manager does it all the time. I think, was it before the who did we just play? My brain's giving it a miss. Brentford. Before the game, he's going, oh yeah, we're waiting for Liverpool. We're gonna wait for them to slip up. We'll be there. I'm thinking they've slipped up twice in like the last few games, like, and you've drew twice to Fulham. What are you talking about? You talk absolute bollocks. Does anyone believe anything he says if they understand what they say? That's just crap.
No.
You don't know what he does today because he talks shit.
I think that's a good point. Is yes, people do believe what he says because they are so infested by him and invested in him. They'll go along with what he says. It's all PR.
That's why they're not interested, Jez. You don't have to answer anything because people would just chew it, swallow it, and be full for the next day. He doesn't have to say anything insightful. He can just say what every bloody well wants. He's getting asked questions about his hair. You know what I mean? About
It is a joke, man.
It's a joke,
and that leads me on to I'll come to you, Kenny, on this one. I know you've talked about this. Well, we've talked about this, all of us. But Kenny, I want to ask you this one, man. Kieran Tierney, man, looks like he's heading back up to Celtic.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame how it kind of worked out. You know, people are going to use his injuries as excuse, the fact that he's been persistently injured, the hamstring injuries, and it's true he has been injured. But I think again, what done Kieran Tierney was the way Mikel Arteta just decided that he wanted to play inverted left back. My biggest argument to that is that why wasn't Kieran Tierney trust that position? Because if you look at when we won the FA Cup, Kieran Tierney wasn't playing at left back. We played wing backs, and Kieran Tierney played in a back three. Scotland playing a back three. Kieran Tierney's not the wing back; it's Robertson. So I was just thinking, Kieran Tierney for me is good on the ball. I've always been perplexed why, whenever we did play in inverted wingers, fullbacks, why he was never considered. The writing has been on the wall from Kieran for a long time now. Let's not forget the Liverpool game 2 seasons ago when Zinchenko was injured and he played Tomiyasu there rather than Kieran Tierney. Now, Mikel could say it could be injury concerns, but I don't think it has been. There's been times when Kieran Tierney has been fit, but anyone other than Kieran has played. I mean, Kiwior, and I say it respectfully, he's not an Arsenal player at all. But Kiwior has got more sort of games at left back than Kieran Tierney ever was. So there definitely is a situation where I don't think there's been a fall in that, but the manager just does not rate Kieran Tierney. Which is a shame because I know for a fact if he went to Newcastle, be appreciated. He's better than Hall. If he went to Everton, be appreciated. It seems like any team other than Arsenal, he won't be appreciated. For him to go back to Celtic, respect for that, but a player of that calibre should be playing in English football or playing in any other league. The Scottish League, as good as it is for Kieran, it's a step back. But again, if I was Kieran, I can understand him want to go where he's appreciated, where he's loved. But It's a shame. It's a missed opportunity, to get the best out of his player, because this was a guy that we mused about being a future captain, and now we're selling him, after about 5 years where he hasn't had much of an impact at the club. Sad.
It is very sad. I find it rather frustrating. I'm just going to super chat, man. So thank you, Joseph Golden Man. Thank you for your super chat. Big up, Jason Panels. Seen an Arsenal fan on Facebook said, give up Man United FA Cup game as we have busy January. Now, okay, let's talk about that, people. Let's talk about that. Joseph, mate, thank you for your super chat. That's what I love about the chat out there. It directs, and you're here to actually have your say about it. Well, okay, Darren, FA Cup. We've got Man United, right, who at the moment are in capitulation. They're in free fall. They're in an absolute bloody mess. And as Joseph says, man, let's just give it up. Let's just give it up, man. Don't worry about it. The FA, just let it go. Third round, FA Cup, throw it in the bin.
Well, if we'd won the last 6 titles and added 3 or 4 Champions Leagues and a few FA Cups in the last 10 seasons, I might agree with him. But we're in no position to be giving anything up.
No.
And the FA Cup is a great cup. It's a brutal tournament in as much as when you win that trophy, you might have to go away to Scunthorpe up north in the freezing frost pitch, or you might have a tough home draw like what we've got against Man United, because no matter all the laughter and amusement online about Man United this and Man United that, they've got at the moment, I believe, the most promising player in the Premier League, the Ahmad guy who scored that wonder goal against Man City. Now, if he gets put on the wings, we ain't just gonna knock Man United over and just wipe the floor with them the way we're playing. They've got every chance of coming to us and beating us 2-1 or 3-1, and they've done it before. So to turn around and say, oh, well, let's just give Man United a pass, a bye into the next round is the stuff of really ill-advised fans that just don't have a clue about club fighting on 4 fronts. That used to be the expression back in the day in like 2000s and the 90s. We're fighting on 4 fronts. Every trophy. And I miss it. Because we don't appear to even want to do that. It's anyone's guess what Arteta's going to prioritise. We know that's normally the league and the Champions League, and the 2 cups get binned. But, it's just pathetic, really. These fans, they need educating. That the FA Cup was the biggest cup after the league, if not even bigger than the league back in the day. The league was just something that Liverpool just won every season, and everyone thought, oh, we'll write that off. Liverpool are just going to win that anyway. But the FA Cup was the one that every club had a chance of winning.
Yep.
You go back and look in the 80s and 70s, you might get a club come up, and Ipswich Town, for example, when they beat us in 79.
Second division.
Yeah, Wigan done the business only a few seasons back, 10 years ago. I don't know when it was. So, it's ridiculous. It's a nightmare.
I just don't, Anthony, mate, FA Cup, it's my favourite competition in the cups. Be honest, I love it. I love the FA Cup. The history, how it used to be portrayed on TV is now changed. It's not what it was when we were kids watching it and everything like that, or young adults. You know, the Road to Wembley, as it was called on BBC One. Mate, okay, so we just throw it in the bin then, shall we?
You know what, Jez? I don't know who this person is that said that, but or if they're watching this channel, but hello, wake up, wakey. I just want to get that out there first of all. So we got to throw the FA Cup away. Right, okay, fine. So if we throw the FA Cup away, what cup are we going to win this season? I mean, obviously,
that's the point. Exactly.
We're in the Carabao Cup this season, the semi-finals. We're against a strong team, Newcastle, with their main striker up front. I mean, that's a very hard game. I've actually called it before, depending on if Mikel Arteta can get his team right and the formation, you know, and some sort of style of play that we can play against Newcastle to block out Isaac. You know, it's not just him, but he's the main goal scorer at Newcastle. I mean, we can quite easily go out of that cup in the semi-final. You know, that ain't gonna. That's no walk in the park there. FA Cup. This is a good time to play Manchester United in the third round. Knock them out. Goodbye. But it's the same thing as you, Jez. I actually grew up watching the FA Cup. I loved it when Arsenal was in the final. I even loved it more when we won the FA Cup. All right, I know there's been a couple of finals that I've seen and we've lost, you know, or even if it ain't just Arsenal in the FA Cup final, it's nice to watch an FA Cup final and be a neutral fan. You know, I mean, I don't understand why these top teams got to jack it in and say, well, it's only an FA Cup. Well, I'm not being funny. Last season, I called for it. I wanted the Premier League and the FA Cup last season. We didn't get it. So I'm calling it for this season. I want the league and I want the FA Cup this season. And if we don't get it this season, then questions should be asked. Why is Mikel Arteta still in this job? I mean, you think of it. Let's say if we spend £50 million in this January transfer window, that's 900 million that Mikel Arteta spent at this club by just spending £50 million on one player. This is what people don't realise. Pep's never had this money spent at Man City, never. And look at all the trophies he's won. I mean, come on, we need some. If we don't get nothing in this January transfer window, we ain't winning diddly squat this season. That's a fact. Premier League, I could write off the Champions League because we're not good enough to win that. You know, that's fine. However far we get in the Champions League, great. But I want the Premier League and I want the FA Cup this season. That's two trophies I love, and that's two trophies I love Arsenal playing and winning. That's a fact.
Yeah, well said, mate. Very well said.
Yeah.
As Graham says, Aaron, I'm going to come to you on the same question as he said right here. Jez, what are we giving up competitions for? What do people who post these things think? Winning breeds success, and our club needs to change their mentality. Great comment. Great comment. Mate, Aaron, you know, what I don't understand, man. Why would we just throw the FA Cup in the bin again?
Yeah, look, man, whoever's made that comment, sort of to nudge on what Darren said, about they need a bit of education. They grab him round the throat and slap him around the face, I think, a couple of times to just wake up. You know what I mean? To just as a nice little wake up call, like, what you doing? Listen, I was born in '89. I think I've seen us win 8 FA Cups, right? And I went to the stadium the last time we won it, and fans were allowed in 2017. And do you know what? It was one of the best things I've ever seen, because it was with the first trophy I'll ever actually sing. So I'd had my season ticket then. It was amazing, mate. What a day. Is something I still cherish very, very, very fondly, and I will do for the rest of my life. Why on earth would you want to throw that away? Now, everyone watches football different, whether it be at home, whether it be in the pub with your mates, whether it be in the stadium, whatever. Like, I pay my season ticket. I put my precious money and my precious time in there to go watch Arsenal. Why on earth would I want them to throw them away? That's what I'm going for. That's what all the effort and the money and the time's for, to go and see us lift trophies. Why the hell would I want to bin 2 minimum off for 2 competitions that we ain't going to bloody win? I mean, it's just, it's Arteta logic. And that's what it is. It's just all these fans have just been conditioned by this nonsense over 5 years and probably a couple of weeks of just going, oh, that's all right, we'll bin it off. All right, we've binned it off, 4 or 5 times since we've won it. For what? The league that we've won, for the Champions League that we've been only in once. Come on, man. Just think about it logically. It's just absolute nonsense. I'll tell you what I want to do at the start of every season, which is an unrealistic expectation, but it's what I want. I want us to win every bloody competition. Every single competition. I want us to go out and spend the right money in the transfer window, every single window, necessary on the necessary players that gets us to competing and winning in every competition, every single season. I don't want to throw this away for. I haven't seen Arsenal lift the League Cup. They won it in '93, but I was only 4 years old. I want us to win it. I've seen some really, really miserable performances in that bloody final. I want us to go and win that. What do I want to throw that away for? Why the bloody hell would I want to throw it away to Manchester United? Are right up our asses, by the way. We've won 14. They're right up our asses. Why would I want them to knock us out? Do you know what I mean? This is our heritage, our history. Why the bloody hell would, of all the teams, would we want Manchester United to beat us, to throw it away, to win the league that we're 9 points behind? What are we doing here? It's just madness, mate.
Arsenal, Man United over the years, the rivalry, and this doesn't just go back to the Ferguson days. It goes back a lot further than that. But Kenny, man, you've got the same love for the FA Cup as me. We pretty much grew up with the same watching the road to Wembley, going to the finals and all that. Mate, why? Where's this logic coming from, my friend?
Well, the problem is that it all started, if you want to talk about it from an Arsenal point of view, it all started when Arsene Wenger fell out of love with the FA Cup. I think one of the reasons why people liked Arsene Wenger is because he took interest in English traditions. If you think about it, Arsene Wenger's first full season got the FA Cup final in '98 and got semi-finals in '99, and in 2001, 2002, 2003, we got the finals, 1-2, got to semi-final and won in 2005. From the time we got to the Emirates Stadium, the FA Cup became an inconvenience. We went out against Bolton, I think, the next season, and that was it. Arsene Wenger became obsessed with the Champions League. And I think that correlates with his acceptance and him, putting a white flag out. He said, you know what? With Chelsea's money and Man United's, renaissance with Ronaldo, Rooney and Carrick, I can't win the league. So I'm going to try and win the Champions League because he think it was winnable. And that's the problem. And you know what happens when you've got a manager as big as Arsene Wenger, as prominent as Arsene Wenger, and let's face it, at the time, we've all been there during the times when at the time Arsene Wenger was trusted by a lot of Arsenal fans. We've all been there. Arsene Wenger's on TV, shh, no one talk. We've all had it. We're all Wenger lovers. Everyone was until he showed that he couldn't match his ambitions, and that's where the problem started. So what's happening now is that you've got a lot of new fans who come to the football club who are born through the Arsene Wenger years, and then they're not taking the FA Cup seriously. They're not taking the League Cup seriously. I mean, people talk about the Man United game, but hang on here, before the Man United game, we've got Newcastle. That's massive. It's a semi-final, and they saw Arsene Wenger just play the kids. So Arsene Wenger's, like I said, him falling out of love with the FA Cup, basically put the genie out of the bottle and he never recovered. And let's not forget, in his latter years, he took the FA Cup seriously. He actually made people realise that we could win trophies, and it gave him a lifeline, the FA Cup, in 2014, 2015 and 2017. But now, all of a sudden, hey, Gracie, how you doing, babes? You all right?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah. I'm just saying that a lot of people, new fans, YouTubers, have taken grace. The majority of Arsenal fans now, because of Arsene Wenger, don't think the cups are important. They only take the Premiership and Champions League seriously. So, Mr. Wenger, you've got a lot of blood in your hands when it comes to the FA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I did say we might have a surprise guest tonight, and here she is. Gracie May has come back to grace the channel as always. Gracie, how you doing, my love?
I'm good. Recovering slowly from Christmas and New Year. Definitely won't be drinking for a while after New Year, but I'm good. I'm good. Back trying to adjust back into some sort of normal life. It's been a crazy last year, so yeah, just getting back into the swing of things really. And I thought, oh, as I'm doing that, why not come and say hello to everyone because it's been a long time.
Yeah, guys, you're always welcome. You know that. And actually, that's interesting because I can start you on this particular question, Gracie.
Go for it. I'm a bit out of practice, so bear with me.
No. It's just a general opinion. This guy, YouTuber, question: would the panel prefer an FA Cup and Carrier Bag Cup, and being the bad condition the United team is, or Arsenal's team won nothing but competed and have a much better squad?
It's all about the trophies.
Yeah.
All about if that's the point of the game. What are we playing for if we're not winning anything? So I don't know. I think I would rather win some trophies and then progress from there than winning absolutely nothing and just a better squad. You don't win points for having a good team. A good team should be able to win. So you don't get extra brownie points for having good players. So that's nice and simple. I'd rather win all day long.
Absolutely. It's silverware at the end of the day. Aaron, my friend, bit of a bizarre comment, this one, but what would you do, mate? What would you prefer?
Oh, copy and paste what Gracie said. Absolutely, yeah. And it's pretty much what I said just before she come on. I'm spending all my time and all my money and all my effort going to games to win trophies. I don't just do it for the absolute fun of it. I don't do it because I like watching 12 geezers running around in -4 degrees. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather be at home in the warm with my missus. Let's get it right. But yeah, I mean, this is what it's all about, trophies. This is why I'd never throw away any trophy. I want to go and I want to go to Wembley. Do you know what I mean? I want a couple of days out, and I want that regularly. This Arsenal team should be able to do it, and it hasn't done it for 5 years. FA Cup and Carabao Cup all day long. I don't care. I want to see. I want trophies.
Absolutely, Darren. Give me your view on this, man. I know you've got your views on it.
Yeah, competing is pretty boring, really. I mean, look at this. What this person said on the second bit. Or Arsenal's team won nothing, but competed and have a much better squad. Well, anyone can compete. The team that finished 16th, 17th in the Premier League, they're competing, aren't they? Would you want to be them? No, not for me. It's all about the trophies, and as you say, why bother turning up if you're not there to win the trophies? It's ridiculous to say. A final is where those 22 players on the pitch are putting everything into winning. That's when that they're giving 100% in the final. You can have a second round, third round game. Players might be giving a lot, but not quite. But in that final, everyone is really focused, and because there's a trophy at the end of it, it goes on your team's record of trophies, and it's a big one in the face for all your rivals. So,
yeah, I totally agree with that statement. Anthony, mate, same to you. What do you? I mean,
I think it's got to be a full life, Jess. I personally, I'd rather win trophies. Is about winning and winning trophies. That's what this business is all about. Is about winning silverware at the end of the day. And you can look at, like, we touched on Man United earlier. I mean, they won the FA Cup last season. They won the Carabao Cup the season before that. That's 2 trophies in Ten Hag's 2.5 years there at Man United. And it makes you think, if they can do that, why can't us? And I even say to the Man United fans, some mates who support them, I said, you're lucky to win a trophy. I said, because our manager hasn't won nothing. And personally, it makes you think, just regarding on winning trophies, is Ten Hag the better manager than Arteta? For the amount of trophies he's won, for the amount of time that he's been in the Premier League. managing Man United compared to Arteta. So, yeah.
Do you know what I think seals off the full house as well? When we talk about 1993, do we talk about Arsenal finishing 10th, or do we talk about them winning the League Cup and the FA Cup?
Well, that's a very good point. Very good point. Kenny, we think it's cold here, mate. It's -11, where SG is in Stockholm. So unlucky.
Big up SG, man.
That's cold. Kenny, you know, that question, that guy, you know, I'll show it again if you want to see the question.
Yeah, I'll see it again, please, yeah.
Question, would you prefer an FA Cup and carrier bag cup and be in the bad condition the United team is, or Arsenal's team won nothing but competed and have a much better squad?
I want games about glory. Games about glory. It's about winning cups. It's about the day out for fans as well. And it's not just fans that go to the stadium. The whole club and the whole fans who watch it on TV from wherever they are in the world, the UK, we get energised, not just by winning a cup, but just being in a final. I'll tell you now, if we got to the League Cup final right now, everyone who's an Arsenal fan, wherever you are in the world, whether you've got tickets to the game or you haven't, you'll be trying to get tickets. And if you accept defeat and don't get tickets, I promise you, your whole day will be mapped out about that game.
Yep.
Yeah, and you'd be in Wembley High Road if you didn't get a ticket as well, in a pub.
Exactly. That game's going to mean a lot to you if you're an Arsenal fan, and because it's the things you were doing before, rushing home or getting people around of friends or meeting up with friends at the game. I tell you now that means a lot to fans. So I can tell you now that means everything to win the Carabao Cup. It'd be the same in the FA Cup. Yeah, we would look at the league position and we would take comfort from that. And we all want to be in the Champions League. But when you're like Arsenal and you think about it, over the years, the Wenger years, 9 years without trophies. Before that, it was 4 years without trophies, even though we had a great team under Wenger. And then there was a time 17 years without a trophy, between 53 and 70. And then nothing between 79 and 87. And then nothing between, was it 71 and 79? I could tell you categorically, if you're an Arsenal fan, you want the glory, because many times when Arsenal have not won anything, we've been unlucky in finals and semi-finals. So I'll take the trophy. Of course, the league's important, no doubt about it. You want to win the league, and you don't want to be finishing anything lower than second, or you don't want to finish anything lower than first, but you'll set second and maybe third, but you won't accept anything else. But cups, I'm sorry, Arsenal fans who disagree with me, but I promise you, we get to the cup final of either the League Cup or the FA Cup or both, the whole day will be devoted to that day, and you'll be excited, and the hairs on your arms, and you'll be sweating with anticipation. You wouldn't even get a night's sleep before, because you're in that final and you'll want to win it, and you'll celebrate it in every area you live in, regardless of whether you're abroad or in Islington or Wembley. So when you say the cups don't mean anything, let's see if we get to the final, see if you change your mind. And I know you will.
I think, though, Kenny, that's probably a narrative from people that have never been to a cup final. Look, you know, you can go to a great league game, home or away, but going to Wembley for a cup final is an experience that like nothing else.
Oh, it's the best day out of ever, because simple reason, it's a national stadium, and you know, people. Let's not forget, before BBC and ITV didn't sell the FA Cup, and the FA just neglected it. The whole country watched the FA Cup final. Everyone watched the FA Cup final. Didn't matter who played.
It's all around the world. You have
definitely. Like, when I was growing up, believe it or not, when I was a kid, apart from I used to watch the FA Cup finals when Arsenal went in. I used to be excited. Couldn't wait for it. You know, the whole day was the build-up. So the FA Cup finals was a massive competition. And it's just a shame that it isn't like that. And there's no reason for the FA Cup not to be the biggest game in the country. All this nonsense about the Champions League's big, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. Half people. I don't see many people who watch the Champions. Yeah, there's a lot of football fans who watch the Champions League, and we do get excited about it. But when it's an event happening in your country once a year, And let's not forget, the FA Cup final has been the only live game on TV before 1983. It was the only live game, apart from the home internationals between England, the England and Scotland game was a live game. So you had 2 live games guaranteed in a calendar year. The FA Cup final, the England-Scotland game, and maybe a European Cup final if an English club was in it. Apart from that, there was no live football. So that was another thing why the FA Cup's massive.
Yeah,
Kenny, mate, we were both at the game in 17 as well, yeah. And mate, because you'd have felt the same as what I would at Wembley. When Costa equalised, and then a couple of minutes later, wasn't it? The ball came in and Ramsey headed us back in. That was something I won't forget, mate. That was like ecstasy, mate. That is just unbelievable, mate.
It was limbs when Giroud put that cross in and Ramsey scored a winner. It was limbs. It was limbs afterwards. We had the greatest day out ever. You know what I mean?
8 years ago, mate, that was. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously 20 we weren't allowed in, but 8 years ago that is. Do you know what I mean? I want that. That's what we go for, mate. That moment. I watched the 21 and it was still buzzing, beating the same team, Chelsea 2-1. But it weren't like that. That was unbelievable, mate. It was the first time I've been there, and I remember it for the rest of my life. And that's what we go. We want more of it.
If you put it into perspective, yeah, I turned 20 this year, right? I've grown up on FA Cups, and I've only seen a few. It's ridiculous. Like, turning 20, I've supported the same, my whole family supports the same team, as you all know. Always followed, been to games, done it all. And I've only seen us win a handful of things. I would so much rather us, put all our effort into winning something than to just sit back and just settle down and be happy with being in the top 4. Oh, great, we're in the Champions League, but when are we going to compete? What's the point? What's the point in wasting time playing these games if we're not desiring to win anything at the end? It should be all in or you're all out. You have to win.
For a start, if we win the FA Cup, we're smashing all the other teams because we've won more FA Cups than anyone else. So we increase our lead of FA Cups.
That's what we're in this for, is silverware. Yeah, and I think it's an absolute sham that we have possibly a management basis that basically will absolutely just throw it away. That's not what it's about. We're here to win. Yeah, well, what's the point of having the club? And especially the FA Cup. We've won the most, 14 of them, right? And yet people are saying, well, one comment that I've actually seen is that let's throw it away. We've got the Premier League to win. Forget all about that. We're in the FA Cup, right? And we want to throw it in the bin to one of the worst teams in the league at this point in time. Man United sitting 14th, right? Now, I was actually sitting here the other day looking at that, and I'm thinking, I remember them getting relegated in 74. I remember that as a little kid, yeah? And right now, they're not right in the relegation, but they're in trouble. They're in a bit of a real downscale situation. And I'm not saying they would get relegated. They're too big a club now for that. They're always a big club. But the fact remains, you want to give the FA Cup third round tie to Man United. Probably one of our greatest. I mean, I'm going to quantify this, Kenny, and I'm going to ask you about that. They're one of our greatest rivals. Tottenham are without a doubt the biggest tribal rivals. Yeah. Without a doubt, there's no question about that. I know there's a lot of people who don't get it, they don't understand it because they don't come from the area, they've never been there, so they don't understand what it means. But at the end of the day, Kenny, throw it away the third round to Man United.
It's not going to happen. These guys might want it to happen because they're for the first time in their lives they're seeing a Man United team that's completely out of kilter, completely out of disarray. And they think, you know what, they we are the hottest of favourites because of the fact that for some reason Amorim has just complicated something that should never be complicated. You never ever do what Amorim does and tries to change it. whilst in season. You do things like that gradually in pre-season. He's getting to play. So let's face it, we feel we're going to win it if we play our best team and if we go to set pieces. But getting people to throw it away again, it's one of those things where fans have looked at the Saka injury, looked at the fact we've got a thin squad, and I feel, oh, we're in that situation. Oh, yeah, it's the Champions League or league or bust. But they're talking absolute rubbish. You know, last year were they saying the same thing against Liverpool? No, they didn't. So they shouldn't be saying it at all. But that's the thing. We've got too many modern fans and too many TV fans, YouTube fans, who generally follow the tide. They think the FA, the league, and the Champions League is more important. In fact, some of them think the Champions League is more important because some, you know, there's debates where some fans, and maybe we have it amongst ourselves, where some fans are even saying, yeah, I'd rather the Champions League than the league because I've never seen Arsenal win it. So that's a conversation, and you know, that is a very good conversation because I get everyone's point, but I don't have empathy with people who want us to be in the FA Cup. No empathy for that. No agreement with it at all. The FA Cup's still the most important competition. We're not playing like Sheffield United. We're not playing Worthing Town, and we're not playing Stevenage Borough. We're playing Man United, the biggest club in the world, bigger than Arsenal at the moment by a country mile. Sorry, Arsenal fans, but I'll just be honest. Man United are a bigger club than us. So with the history we have of Manchester United, you know, 79 Cup final, 2005 Cup final, and semi-finals, and let's not forget, last time we played Man United in the FA Cup, they smashed us to pieces at the Emirates. Was it 2019? Where they actually mullered us. So
I was at that game 3-1.
Yeah, so let's get some perspective and say, you know what, let's use that as a platform, win the competition, and knock them out, revenge. But some people, you know, it's all about now with some fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get it at all. But let's move it on. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight, and I wanted to talk about this. We've got a teams keeps vying with us for second, third, second. Nottingham Forest people, Nottingham Forest. Anthony, come to you first on this. They've certainly kicked in, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I've actually said it to the Yeti as well, and on your show and Yeti's show, they're not going to be a walkover this season. You know, the manager has got that team up and gelling really quick. Seriously, and you look at the players that they've got in. They've now got Edu. You know, well, we all know him. They've got him there as well. So obviously he's going to be trying to spot the talent as well and trying to bring most of the talent into Nottingham Forest squad. But yeah, I mean, listen, they're ones to watch. They are really ones to watch. And I'll tell you something now. I think they're where they're playing at the minute. I think they could finish fourth, Jess, in the top four. I know it sounds like, you know, like, whoa, what, really, top four? But yeah, as the season goes on and the more I watch them and the more they play and winning and picking up points, I can't see why not. And I know Yeti most probably might be watching this and that, but I'm not saying that because of Yeti. I'm saying that because the style of play, I actually watch them. Well, when we see them, they're no walkover. I fair play to them this season. Seriously, good.
Yeah, fact. I'm going to change this. Darren, do you want to answer that question there, YouTuber? This is obviously a mutant. I see you choose trophies and a mirror image of the Man United squad. So that includes a 7-0 hammering away to Spurs and in Bournemouth, doing the double at the Emirates. What bollocks are you talking about, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just making that up as he goes along. What I'd say to YouTuber with his fake account, whoever he may be or she may be, is that your football club should be saying to your manager, right, here's your objectives for the start of the season. And everyone's workplace, you have objectives. Normally you have 3 to 5 objectives in any given period, in any year. And normally you would have thought that they should be saying to Arteta, well, you've got to win the Champions League, you've got to win the Premiership, FA Cup, League Cup, and a Club World Cup. There you go. There's how many is that? 5, right? So that's your objectives. And then in season 1, Arteta comes into the office, his head down like this. You met having your objectives, Mr. Arteta. No. Right. See you next season. And they've been having that conversation now for 4 years, if that's what Arteta's objectives are. But we all probably know that he ain't got any of that. It's probably finishing the top 4, Mikel. Get a star performer so we can sell 1 million T-shirts, Mikel. YouTuber, you should really pay more attention to achieving trophies than making things up on Jez's channel here. I see you choose trophies in a mirror image of the Man United squad. I really don't know what you mean there, because our squad is obviously different to Man United's, but
he's been watching too many Arteta press conferences, I think, isn't he?
It's not in as much as Man United. You probably are, you might actually have something, because we ain't winning fuck all, and neither are they.
True. Kenny, we know who this is. It's classic. It's classic. Oh, good old Pete. Darren, you can't read the room. The majority of Arsenal fans are Arteta fans. I disagree with that totally. But
Peter, how are you? Happy New Year, by the way, mate. You don't surprise me. But your further point, I'm sorry, Peter, but you ask anyone in the rest of Europe and the rest of the world, they would say Man United is a much bigger club than us. Yeah, we're doing better than them, but in terms of heritage, their levels above us, and because they've won more than us, and they've played more important games than us and won more Premiership titles than we have in the modern era, Champions Leagues as well, and they've been in more finals. So it goes without saying they are a bigger club. You sound a bit like Theo Walcott, because I know Theo Walcott had a thing to say last season, and Roy Keane, shut him down. But Theo is he's nice, but I look at Theo and he's everything he says is well rehearsed. He's just trying to curry favours. But in terms of you can't read the room, that's probably the truest thing you ever said, Peter, about a majority of Arsenal fans are Arteta fans. But it doesn't mean they're right. Just because they're the majority doesn't mean that we're wrong and they're right. It's just that they've chosen to get behind a manager. But I promise you, things in football change. If Arteta doesn't prove to be a success, and he isn't the manager that is going to clean up every trophy like a lot of you Arteta fans say, you will change your mind, Peter. But you won't tell us, because your pride be hurt, because we would say, we told you so. You wouldn't give us that satisfaction. But I'm telling you right now, the tide is turning. Just look at you should read the room after the Everton game. You look at all the interviews on the Disney Channel and all the other channels where they doubted whether Mikel Arteta could win trophies. They doubted whether Mikel Arteta could take us as far as they go. They agreed with a lot of what we said, that there's a massive gap between competing and winning trophies. It's night and day. So I think you're very selective in the sort of situation you're reading, but you're only doing it because we won our last 2 games. I don't think we'd be hearing from you if things go south in the next month, or we get knocked out of the FA Cup and the League Cup and we fall further behind Liverpool, which I hope we don't. But we won't be hearing from you, Peter. So it's nice that you're contacting us, but you're only contacting us because we won the last couple of games.
Well, that's a great point, Kenny. Very well said, very well put. This guy, don't forget, he's lost everything. He turned to religion. He done everything. He lost his house, and then it's been a tragic drama for him. But we leave it there. Great, Gracie. Nottingham Forest team struggled last season. Right, they were fighting for relegation, points deducted. Blah, 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 and all that. And look at where they are now, sitting third, looking pretty.
Yeah, they're having a great season. Something seems to have just clicked for them, and I do think they'll continue as well. I mean, they're having a better season than what I would expect, certainly. And at the moment, they're having a better season than teams like Manchester City. So, I can't knock them. They look like they're a strong side, and I think they'll be one to watch out for the rest of the season. Whether they can continue it is another story. But it looks good for them, post Christmas and sitting in the top 4. You never know. Teams can do wonderful things when something just clicks like that. So it all depends. I mean, we'll see in the next coming weeks whether their form continues. And great for them. A great first half of the season. So pretty impressed so far. I mean, I'm pretty out of touch with most things at the minute because of if you know where I've been for the last 9-10 months of my life, you understand why. But so I didn't always get to watch a game. I think for the first time in my life, I missed a couple of games because of work. But I'm looking forward to definitely watching the next half of the season. I am just going to disappear for 2 minutes because I still have an injury, so I can't sit like this for too long. So I'm going to get up, move around, and then I'll be back in literally 30 seconds.
No worries, please.
Cheers.
Do what you got to do, my love. Aaron, Nottingham Forest, my friend. Forest, sitting there on our shoulders, mate. They're right behind us. Yeah, we can't afford to slip up here at all.
Yeah, no, look, fair dues to them. If you actually go as well by the form guide, in the last 6 games, they've took the most points out of everyone in the Premier League. They're absolutely no mugs, and that's 5 wins and 1 loss, which was at the beginning of that. They've won 5 straight in a row. They are only 2 points behind us. We're competing with them. It's as simple as that this year, and they don't get the credit they deserve. We've got a good opportunity to solidify our sort of place in that sort of Champions League, because they're playing on Monday, Wolves away, I believe. It's a big game for us, because I think they'll win that game against Wolves away. Absolutely, 100%. We can't be messing around with Brighton. And they're right on our tails. Like I said, they're banging form. They've conceded, I think, 2 more than us, so they're no mugs defensively. Not that we've been great, but, you sort of see some teams where they struggled last year. You think, if you're conceding this amount of goals like they were last year, how are you going to do next year? They've sorted that right out. Do you know what I mean? And they're no mugs going forward either with their attack. I think if you looked at the way the season's gone, they're pretty much about where they want to be, about where they deserve to be, rather, I should sort of say. I think they started off well, didn't they? And you think, well, we sort of see maybe they tail off after 19 games halfway through the season. I'll tell you what, they bloody haven't. And they're going that way at the minute, not sort of down. Will they sustain it over 38? Well, no one knows that today. But I'll tell you what, halfway in, credit where credit's due, people. They've been really good. And I expect them to keep it up for a little bit, Can they get Champions League? Like sort of what Anthony said, who knows? I'm not gonna sit here and say no. If they can keep it up, if Leicester can win the Premier League, why can't Nottingham Forest qualify for the bloody Champions League? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it's a fair point, mate. YouTuber respect. Fair play to you, man. You've come back, and guys, no disrespect. I'm not a mutant. I was having this talk in work. I believe Arsenal will win trophies this year, so I choose Arsenal. United will be down for a long time. Fair comment, mate. Thank you for coming back with that as well. We're not disrespecting you at all. It's just sometimes, you get weird comments, but SG says, what phase is Nuno Espirito in? Well, that's a good one. Anyway, let's get into the big one. Tomorrow, I'm gonna come to Darren, mate. Darren, do the round robin on this one. Brighton away tomorrow, freezing cold, down on the south coast at Falmer. Hopefully I'll be there, but can't guarantee if the snow's around. Mate, prediction for that? How do you think it's going to go?
It's a tough one to call, really, because you know what we're like. We could be on this. Our performances are horrendous, yet we seem to just, do a little bit of individual pressure, skills, whatever you want to call it, and then we'll bang a goal in like we did against Brentford. You know, we were shocking, but we're getting the results. And sometimes people might go, "Oh, well, that's the sign of champions." But if I could see something else more solid in our squad, but I see our goalkeeper's very good, our back four is very good, but where it goes wrong is in the midfield and up front. That's where it all goes wrong, sadly. I keep banging on about it. If Declan Rice starts, he ain't really got anyone else other than Thomas Partey, who Arteta doesn't really like playing Partey and Rice anyway in the middle. We don't seem to see them two. Of course, we've got Mr. Odegaard, who I don't believe can run properly and has never been fit enough to play for this football club. So there's your weaknesses in our midfield. And God forbid if he was to put Jorginho in tomorrow as well. And, you know, I go to games and I hear people behind me and I see people online calling him Georgie and all this. He shouldn't have that nickname because he ain't done nothing for this club. He's done zilch. So, and then up front, you know, again, who are we going to play? We got Martinelli, Havertz, perhaps up front, Trossard, Jesus. Now, with Jesus, what sort of disappoints me about this man is out of nowhere, we're seeing his form improve. Where's it been? What's he doing? Is he playing for like a transfer in January, hoping that, you know, someone from Saudi's going to come in with a big contract and then he'll be off? You know, I don't get it with us. I don't get it. So we're up against Brighton and they've got a player called Danny Welbeck up front, who we used to have, who I actually think we probably would have been better off keeping him because I actually think he's probably better than what we've got already, funny enough. What an absolute mess it all is. But if you're going to press me on a score, they've got, who is it, a Dringar as well, potentially coming off a bench. I reckon we'll do it. I reckon 2-1 tomorrow. And that's only because we seem to just pull these games out of the bag. But I wouldn't be putting any sort of wiggly wage on an Arsenal win tomorrow. It could go win, lose, or draw. But I reckon 2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, same prediction as me, actually, to be honest. Interesting, this one from Pete. Even if we finish bottom, Kenny, I will still support Arteta, for what he's done for us. Big statement. I've literally given absolutely everything and gambled everything back in this man. Too far in to change my mind. Pete, you said that last year, and you said you'd lost everything. So you're obviously talking absolute bullshit. So, you know, move on, fella, because you said you'd lost everything. You lost your house. You'd turned to religion and everything. So sod off, mate. Just stop the bullshit. Yeah? So I'm going to time you out. Right. Anthony, prediction, game, Brighton away, tough one.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I don't think there's going to be many goals in this one, Jez. My prediction is going to be the same as yours and Darren's. I've got Arsenal to win 2-1. Just touch on what Darren said about, you know, with Jesus with his form coming on. It's funny how his form started just before the January transfer window. So I reckon a certain Mikel Arteta is going to look at that and realise that he's not going to sign a striker in January, let's be honest. And then come towards the end of the window, I think Jesus' form will sadly hit a dip. So we'll be going back to square one, talking about this on bloody shows leading up from now to the end of the season. So that's that. Odegaard, yeah. I don't think he's played well in the last couple of games, if I'm honest with you, Jez. I really don't. And it's nice to see Martinelli and Trossard playing. Is better than them playing either side of the pitch instead of close to one another, because that never worked out as well, let's be honest. So, you know, it's nice to have that bit of space between them. But yeah, 2-1. I fancy. It's not going to be easy, but listen. Even if we play crap and we could just get 3 points over the line, anything to keep Forest in third place or fourth, I'll be happy with that. So, big up Yeti.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's Gracie, mate. Give me your prediction for the Brighton away games. It's going to be let's take into account Arsenal don't like playing in the cold. They like playing out in Dubai. It's going to be bitterly cold tomorrow. Apparently, predictions are tomorrow it's going to be -3 all day, so it's not going to be a nice day out at all. If I actually end up getting there, I'm going to be like the Michelin man with the amount of coats and hats I'm going to have on. But give you some prediction, Gracie.
I think I'm going to go the same with the majority. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Arsenal. But, Brighton do like to pull something out of the bag against us. But I think our form should speak for itself, and hopefully it'll be a nice, straightforward game. Probably, I would say we'd take the lead in the first half, and then go from there. Really, it's probably going to be quite a boring game, to be honest, especially if it's cold. Might struggle to get going a little bit. I know it is absolutely freezing where I am, down in the southeast. So I dread to think just a little bit more along the coast what it's like. But fingers crossed. I'll go for a 2-1 win. I've been, pretty on the money with my predictions in the last few weeks. So hopefully all going well, I can continue my streak. But yeah, I think go 2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's interesting. I know where you are, and you get you where you are in the world. You get it straight down from the North Pole. There is no land mass between where you are in Britain and the North Pole, so you get it the blast. Okay, Kenny, tomorrow, my friend.
Well, the thing about Brighton, as difficult as the game it is, they haven't won since the 23rd of November when they beat Bournemouth 2-1. They've had a lot of draws. Obviously, Crystal Palace turned them over, but they've drawn a lot of games. Crystal Palace turned them over at their ground, and Fulham turned them over the week before. But apart from that, they just drew. They do have a bit of a bounce back ability, but it depends on who we're going to play. Timber's out because he's suspended, so who's going to play right back? Please don't let it be Thomas Partey. I'm begging it's not Thomas Partey.
No, please.
Begging it's not Thomas Partey, but with Havertz, I believe Havertz was suspended for the Brentford game, so I can see that if Havertz was in a team, he could play either two positions. If he could play in the midfield instead of Mourinho, who wasn't great against Bournemouth, don't let the goal fool you, by the way. Or he could play on the right-hand side instead of Wanyeri, who, again, did okay, but he wasn't as great as Arsenal fans said he was at the game. But it's one of those things where, a suspension to Timber would just basically ruins our whole plans in terms of Thomas Partey. I mean, to take Thomas Partey out of midfield after he's the man of the match and the best player on the pitch is sad. But, he'll probably bring Declan back anyway. But I do expect us to.
A night for me, Kenny, by the way.
What's that?
He was my man of
the match. Absolutely man of the match. I'm thinking he'll play that right back. Depends if Declan Rice has got his skates on and we outrun him, we beat him 2-1, 3-1, or because we're probably doing them on set pieces and just doing them on because we have power. But I don't see us losing it on the basis of Brighton's form since they beat Bournemouth. They haven't been at the races. They haven't won since then. They're difficult to beat, but if we score the first goal, I think heads will go down, and that's what I think we can clean up. But if they score first and then get the second goal, which Brentford didn't get when they're on top, then I think we can win it. So basically what I'm saying is that if you play against Arsenal, win on ropes, get the second goal, because once we go 2-0 down, it ain't happening for us afterwards. That because it's just too much, and teams will have that confidence. But if you're only a goal up against us, I still think we can win. Let's look on what happened on Wednesday. But I'm going, 3-1 Arsenal.
I mean, we've got a tough week coming up. Let's put it right. Aaron, mate. Brighton away tomorrow. Tough. It's a tough. I've been there quite a few times now for Brighton, Arsenal, and it's. I wouldn't say the atmosphere is intimidating. It's not like going to Palace or going to Tottenham. I've never been to the new Tottenham Stadium, so I can't really comment about the new stadium, what the atmosphere is like. But Brighton, it's a little bit, how can I put it? A little bit sedate. It's a little bit nice. I would like to put it that way. It's all very friendly. You know, I've had the piss taken out of me massively down there by the people I go with. Sitting with the Brighton fans, it's all good laugh. It's good drama. But give me your breakdown of what you see about tomorrow with the team.
Well, we've got an opportunity to close our gap to Liverpool, put a little bit of pressure on them to 3 points. So it obviously means we're going to draw it 0-0. Annoyingly, every time we seem to have an opportunity to claw something back, because Liverpool are playing the next day, obviously on Sunday, we blow it. It's been really disappointing, you know, seeing us in this situation, you know, and of that I obviously mean the Fulham game and the Everton game. Very disappointing. Look, if we can get something tomorrow, it's buzzing, because I don't expect us to. I generally think it'd probably be a score draw. The way we've been sort of playing, it's almost copy and paste for the Brentford game. What I sort of said about it in that. Look, I think it's going to be 1-0. If you press me and said come on, look, you know, who's going to get a winner? It'd be 2-1 if we was to win. I don't think anything more. But I do think we're going to draw. I don't know. I just think when the opportunity is always there, history is sort of telling us, and especially recent as in this season, we're not taking these opportunities, and it's really frustrating, because look, do I think Arsenal are going to win the league? No, but you know, I think we probably have a bit more of a chance if we were 3 points behind. But I just, all I see is this a shit in our pants. You know what I mean? Every time we've got an opportunity, it's frustrating. We've done it, you know, twice in the last 4 games. Look, like what Ken said, you know, they haven't been in fantastic form. In their last 6, they drew 4, lost 2. You know, in theory, we should be able to go there and sort of, you know, get a commanding sort of win, whether that be a 2-0 or something like that. You know, we should have the quality to do it. Considering we've spent 800 bloody million, we should be right bang up confident for this, considering the way they're playing. You know, we've won 5, I think 4, and drew 2 our last 6. You know, we're in a bit of form. So I don't know why I'm sort of going towards sort of a draw, but it's just sort of how I suppose I feel about the club at the minute. You know, there's nothing in the league especially to really get excited about, especially when I don't believe we're going to win it. I've gone around the houses with that. Yeah, I'm going to say 1-0. I'm going to let head rule over heart, mate. Yeah, I'm going to have a draw. I just think it'll be a bit of a stinky game, just like it has been pretty much all season. Boring, dull. If we can sneak a 2-1 win, buzzing. But you know, yeah, 1-0. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll go with that one on there. Right. We got Man United Wednesday night, FA Cup, at the Emirates.
No, it's Newcastle. Newcastle.
I was going to say.
Yes,
Newcastle Tuesday. Newcastle Tuesday.
I've jumped ahead. I've totally disrespected Newcastle. God, that's terrible.
Hopefully, Mama's not watching.
Mama's not going to be happy with me at all. Kenny, mate, that ain't going to be an easy game, is it?
Newcastle are in fantastic form. Not only are they tough defensively to break down, midfield they got so many runners like Joe Linton, pass accuracy, and he's a robust runner. And Guimaraes is a good runner as well. And you know, the wingers are playing well, but Isak is smacking form. And the thing is, they're not afraid of us at all. They won't be afraid. You know they can beat us. You know, I expect Newcastle to make themselves difficult to beat and refuse to lose against us and say, look, we can take them back to St James's and do them. But you know, they'll probably be looking to get either a 0-0 or nick one. But it's not going to be easy. Even with our full team out, even if Saka was playing, it would have been an hard game for us. You know, because I do think that Newcastle playing with a lot of energy. Their performances against Man United just shows you, boom, get down on the right wing, you know, get down that left-hand side, you know, with Lewis Hall. He's just been revelation at left back, absolutely brilliant left back. Guimaraes and Linton's been brilliant. You know, Murphy as well. he's replaced before as Amaron was playing, but Murphy's come in and he's been like a gem in that position. Now, Anthony Gordon takes care of himself. They're in smacking form, and they're quietly getting their job done. Who knows? It might be them who'll be trying to get in that top four, but they've definitely got a chance of getting a League Cup final at expense. So it's going to be our hardest game at the Emirates of the season. I promise you that. It'd probably just be a bit harder than Liverpool, guys, because Newcastle generally believe that they're not going to lose. Obviously, Liverpool got better players, but Newcastle, there's something about this Newcastle side I've seen in a long time. I think, they're not inconsistent as they were before. But saying that, I hope they thrash Spurs tomorrow. I hope you give them a good kicking.
Yeah,
I think we'll do well to win. I think if we do win, I don't think we're going to win by a couple of goals. So it'll probably be a 1-0 win Arsenal or 2-1, which is going to be a dangerous result going up to St James's Park.
Right, I totally agree on that one. Anthony, mate, give us your prediction for that game.
1-1. Seriously, I can't see us 1-1. Yeah, I can't see us beating Newcastle. It's something about it. We've been here before plenty of times, even under Wenger. Even when we lost to that final 2-1 against Birmingham, Birmingham City. So I personally think it's going to be a 1-0, and I think Newcastle's going to do a job against us at St James's Park. I really do. I think this would be the end of the competition for us against Newcastle. I personally think they'll knock us out of this competition. I hate to say it. I don't want it to happen, but I can see it happening. So it's going to be 1-0 at the Emirates, and they'll beat us something like 2-1 at St James's.
Oh, ouch.
I know, Jed. I know.
Fair enough, though. It's your view. Darren, mate, give us your prediction for the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Newcastle are going to know that we haven't got Saka. They've playing us at a very good time, and I also think our disgraceful attitude at the club amongst the players, they're not going to put any massive emphasis on getting through to the final. I don't see them taking this competition seriously enough. So I can see Gordon causing mayhem, Isak getting a goal, and I can see us getting beat 2-1 at home in the first leg, and then we'll have to go up to Newcastle and try and do a reversal up there, which I don't think is going to happen somehow. So I can see us, I agree with Anthony, I can see us getting knocked out of this semi-final because I just don't think we're professional enough and ambitious enough.
Ouch. Again. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Aaron, predictions are not looking good. Mate.
Look, there's variables, isn't there? Like a few of the boys have said, are we going to take it seriously? And obviously by that, I mean, play the strongest 11 available and not dick around. I don't actually know. I mean, I hope we do, of course, because it gives us a better chance. Saka being a bit injured, it's going to be tricky, and let's get it right. And look, Darren's already said there. If we're to progress, we've got to have a good sort of a lead, whether that be a 2-0 or whatever. We've got to have a lead at St James's Park because even if it's a 1-0, I'm thinking, oh man, I do sort of fancy Newcastle to at least minimum take it to extra time or penalties, whatever it will go to in the after the two legs. I can't quite remember if it goes to extra or straight to penalties. I think it goes straight to penalties, wouldn't it? Do they do extra time? I don't know. Yeah, I can't quite think. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? I want to say 2-0 win, but that's my heart. I'm usually ruling with my head, so I'm sort of with the boys 1-0. It's tricky. Yeah, I'm probably going to say 1-0. It's a shame, Saka's out, our only match winner. But what can you say? Bad times for us, isn't it?
Gracie, mate. Arsenal, Newcastle, semi-final. We know it's a cup. We're not great. We always seem to capitulate in the League Cup, if you want to call it that. What do you think?
Do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go and be different to everyone else's posure. I'm going to go a 1-0 Arsenal.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be a stinky 1-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, no, I think it will. I think we'll just about scrape it and just defend. But, you know, Newcastle, fantastic side, and everyone knows how much I can't stand Newcastle. We've been through this 100 times before. There's a few clubs that I hate, and they are definitely one of them. But I think, yeah, I'm going to go 1-0. It's at home, isn't it, the first leg? So at home, own fans behind us, good atmosphere. And hopefully we can muster up a 1-0. Obviously, we're missing Saka, but what can we do? It's the situation we're in. It's a bad time, but we can't let it stop us from going forward. Our key players aren't always going to be available, so you've got to find other ways to win, draw, and get through. At the end of the day, it's a semi-final, so we should be treating it like we want to win. So yeah, go for a 1-0 to go into the second leg.
Yeah, I'm going 1-0 Arsenal. I think that there'll be just enough to actually get it over the line. Going away to St James's Park is a totally different prospect. We haven't done well up. Well, let's be honest, one shot in 2 seasons is not a great statistic, is it really? Against Newcastle away, but it's a cup. Cups, we all know. I always say my belief is you can never go on form. You know, we've been caught before. Wrexham away, York City away. You know, FA Cups, we've been dusted in those games. You know, I mean, York City, God Almighty, I remember going that. Horrendous. But it is what it is.
Jez, just quickly, mate. Do you think 1-0 win at home would be enough to qualify to the final, get through?
No, I don't. Because going up to St James's Park, right, under the lights, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. There's absolutely no way I can honestly see it being a 0-0 at St James's Park. No chance. We've got to go up there and we're going to have to fight. You know, we are going to have a fight. And I mean that respectfully. And it's going to be it's going to be tough, man. You know, St James's Park is a great stadium and a great fan base, but it's tough. It's, you know, they've turned us over. Look at our recent record at St James's Park. It's pretty shit. Considering what Arsenal have spent compared to what Newcastle have spent, right? You'd think we'd be actually walking that one, right? But nah, I can't see it myself. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, everybody. Thank you to all of the panel. Absolute legendary. Thanks to everybody in the chat as well. Great comments have been put in there. Thank you to Connor for putting in a super chat. Thank you for that, my friend. Gracie, it's good to have you back on.
Yes, it's good to be back.
How's that bloody injury? It's been going on forever.
Is that what everyone wants to know? Is it? You want to know the lowdown? Not great, I can't lie. I picked up a secondary injury, so I've torn my hip as well on my same leg. So basically, back in March, long time ago now, but I tore my calf in 2 places, and I was in a moon boot for like 4 or 5 months whilst doing rehab. And because I was in that for so long, it changed the way I walk, and I had to like relearn to walk without it. But the transition weren't the best, and I ended up like tearing muscles in my hip. So now I have a hip that decides, you know, pop in and out and do fun things like that. So recovery is a bit of a nightmare. But I've got to have a couple more MRIs on both to see how they're healing. I can walk now, so I mean we're in a good start. I can walk and I can do more. Not ideal, but it's a situation I find myself in. been 9 months. It's a long 9 months of being injured and being on crutches, and it's been long. Very long.
I mean, I'm not going to mention what you were doing.
Oh, let's just do it. Why not? It doesn't matter anymore. I was in the army. I've left the army now, completely. For now, I will be going back. But I had another like 10-month recovery, and I'd already been injured for 8 months at that point. So I've been out a month now, which is crazy. Life has gone very quick since then. Just on the road to recovery, really, and seeing what happens in the next year or so.
It's a great shame, because I know you had great ambitions in your career, and I'm sorry it's gone that way for you. To be honest, it is a great shame.
Things happen, It's not forever. It's a temporary thing. But yeah, that's why I've disappeared off the face of the earth for a year, because I was being very, very, very busy in that career. But yeah, unfortunately, ended in injury for now. But I'll be back. I'm sure.
Are you going to resurrect your channel?
I've had a lot of questions about that. Probably not. No, I mean I'm 20 this year, living my best life as a 20-year-old, and I think just from a time perspective, I mean my new job, hoping to be a teacher in the interim of military life, so it just doesn't really work. Unfortunately, I mean, I will pop up every now and then. I did miss it for a long time, and then sort of I got sidetracked with other things, but I'm still about. I just think, from my perspective, and I'm with someone as well, and that makes things a bit more complicated. So I'm a lot more busy than I usually would be. So just living my life, being happy, hopefully traveling a little bit this year as well. So it's all time, really. I just don't have the time anymore. I barely, from doing rehab and working. That's my life, really. So
you're young, you're 20. Get out there, enjoy it.
it's crazy to say that I'm nearly 20, because I started coming on YouTube when I just turned 16. So it's
I remember.
been a while now. Yeah,
I remember.
Been a while. A lot has changed. Since then.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the very best. You're always welcome on the channel anytime. So
you'll see me pop up. I think I'm going to do something with Lee soon as well. So you'll see me around on the internet, I'm sure, just not officially doing stuff. So you never know. See what happens. I might change my mind over the year. You never know.
I won't ask you to shout your channel out.
No, please don't go trying to find me. And I've already had messages pop up loads. If you add me on social media, I probably won't add you back, because that's just my private stuff. So please don't try and find me. But
no, fair enough. That's fine. But thank you for coming on as always. Been a pleasure. We've all missed you. You saw the reaction you got.
Yes, I felt very loved. I mean, I'm lucky actually. I've managed to find some time this evening to come on, because I didn't know whether I'd be able to. But it's been nice to talk about football again. And it
is great. If it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have this channel. You set it up.
I did all them years ago. Seems like a lifetime ago.
Basically, your fault. So
it is my fault. Yeah, that's most things are my fault, so it's okay. I'll take responsibility for that one.
Love you always. You're a special young lady. I've got a lot of time for you. You know that. Ken, my friend, shout out where we're going to find you.
You can find me on Instagram at KennyKen1972, causing all sorts of trouble. Everyone's talking about the darts final, so I'm sure all of you guys want to watch the final. So I'll keep it short and sweet, but you'll be finding me on fan cams tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get a massive win today. And then obviously I'll be at the games at the Emirates Stadium, Newcastle and Man United. Yeah, I decided to go Newcastle because I thought it's a big game. Let's just have a look at that. And, you never say no to Man United at home in any capacity, do you?
No, never, ever. Aaron, my friend, please shout your channel out. Are you going to be at the Newcastle game next week?
No, I'm not going to be at the Newcastle one. I will be at the Man United FA Cup one though. I've got a couple of little bits sort of coming up, but I've over the Christmas period, I've had such a nice time off going on a couple of people's channels. I've sort of forgot about my own one. Do you know what I mean? It's easily done, isn't it?
It is hard to get back. I mean, I did the Christmas show 23rd, right, and then had such a big break. Done a couple of fan cams, right, and then all of a sudden it's like. It's almost like you just had the biggest Christmas dinner in your life. You got to get back doing your YouTube.
Yeah,
it's
difficult. I was on with you, I was on with Tone, and I was on with Lee for one of his emergency meetings until about 5 in the bloody morning. And so I think that just done it for me. And all them 5 hours of that one, it just almost spread across the whole thing. But I do need to sort myself out. I'll probably do something maybe tomorrow, but definitely before the Newcastle game. Yeah, 100%, man. And also, Gracie, the first time I've met you, I hope you have a really good speedy recovery, man. It sounds like
you've
been through a little bit.
Hopefully a bit more speedy than it has been, but thank you.
Yeah, all the best with it. Yeah, all the best with it. Serving the country and that. We wish you all the best.
Darren, my friend, where can we find you on your socials?
Yeah. Darren Sullivan 49 on Insta. I haven't got a channel, but I pick up on some of the body language of Arteta and co. So I post a few bits and bobs on there with a bit of musical content on there from time to time. I've been a little bit quiet recently, but I will try and pick it up best I can. So yeah, you can find me on there. Gracie, wish you all the best for the future. And from a bit of personal experience, as a bit of a flop coming out the forces when I was 16, you never forget your time in the forces. Trust me. Whatever you go on to do, you will always remember, the bits you need to remember. So
yeah, definitely.
Well done.
You don't forget it. No, you don't forget it.
Well done.
Although my time was short, I will be back. Definitely an experience. I won't say too much about it, but
I only lasted 4 months, so I'm sure
it's a tough life.
Yeah,
tough life. Hard.
That's I mean, when you went, I was probably the only YouTuber that knew what you were doing, and I respected you for doing what you're doing. Anthony, my friend, where can we find you? What you're up to? Where you going? What you doing?
Yeah, well, this Sunday I think is the start back of the Sunday night takeaway with Early Doors TV, and then obviously on the Wednesday I'm going to be doing back with Early Doors, the good, the bad, and the ugly with Tony, myself, and Fuzzy, and then Thursday I'm going to be going on Football Dad's Army on Lee's show. We're going to be discussing if this is true. We're going to be discussing why is Thomas Partey maybe going to Barcelona on a free. So that's something else that we can be discussing about on the show. So and it weathers from there, Jez, on this transfer window. Is reportedly that could be within January of next month. I don't know if Kenny's heard this, but there's a lot he's been saying about it that Partey could be going for free to Barcelona.
And I've heard Sterling's off as well. Apparently, we're getting rid of him.
So we're probably getting rid of him. So it's going to be interesting. January coming up. Obviously, you know me. I didn't believe it until it happens. Till the players holding up the shirt. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Partey's in his last year of contracts. Anything can happen from now to the end of the season. So that's that. And obviously with Jez's channel as well on Arsenal History More, when I can jump on there and come on and do a show and talk about our beloved club and our beloved manager, as they say.
He's not a beloved manager to me, but
no, he's an ass. He's an asshole. But
I've got a quick question, Gracie, before we pack it in. Question to Gracie: who's the greatest football player in your opinion?
Oh, across the board. That's hard.
Bergkamp.
Bergkamp all the way. Yeah, I can't disagree. For me, it's always been the same. So I will stick with the same opinion I've always had and go with Dennis Bergkamp. Definitely.
Good girl. She, I tell you what, true Arsenal is Gracie May. Anyway, I'm going to be on the American Idiot show tonight at 9:00 with TJ and Dow. So that'll be an interesting chat. Whatever we talk about. Thank you, everyone that's watching in the chat. Thank you for the super chat, blah, blah, and all that. And we're going to get out of here. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Grace. It's great to see you back. And I hope you recover very quickly and move on. And Kenny Ken, as always, the absolute legend. Mate, you need to put the heating on. Seriously.
I probably will put the heating on, but you know what? I've taken, the advice from a lot of older people than me who said you're only as cold as the number of clothes you got on. So I said, right, at least try and put loads of clothes on and then see if it's still cold.
Yeah. It's quite hot here in Los Angeles, Kenny. It's quite good.
I don't know, is that your heating? What you call Los Angeles?
Oh, definitely.
Well, I won't lie. I actually, I have this argument all the time with my missus, right? And I said, and I have this row with her, and I put the heating on. I said, look, once you get the house to an ambient temperature, you need to maintain it so it's a floating temperature, right?
Yeah.
Around 21, 22. So I'd get the temperature up, right? Up to 21, 22, maybe a little bit above. She'll come in and turn it off. So it drops. Right.
Oh, God. You pay more for that, Jez. It's like what you said, you've got to keep it at standard heat.
Yes.
All along.
So it's now dropped down this morning, right? It's dropped down from a nice little temperature at 22, buffering along quite happily. And it then drops down to around about 12, right? Yeah. I said, you've now got to use more gas to get it back up again. All the time, a modern A-rated boiler, it just ticks, 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 ticks. And she don't get it. And it just...
Jez, do what I do, mate. Box the thermostat over and put 7 padlocks over it so she can't touch it.
Well, I actually
honestly, that'll do.
The other day, if you keep doing this, I'm just going to wire it out. Wire it out live to common, and then you can't touch it. But anyway, there we go, people. I'm going to do the outro. Thanks, everyone. Great comment tonight. Great chat. It's good to be back. And we'll catch you all later. Have a great 2025. Arsenal, sort your shit out. Arteta, get out.